abuse, you went through low self-esteem, lack of confidence, didn't know who you were, dropped out of school, have no qualification, that does not dictate your future. Don't let anyone lie to you that because you've gone through those issues, then you will never be and you will never become.
Check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it.
Hey, Greg and the CE, call me hip hop junkie. Straight to your dome piece like Brass Monkey. All I wanna know, do you wanna get funky? CNC beats be kicking.
Welcome to Mel's Truthful Tuesday. I'm so excited to be here with you once again. It has been an amazing week. It has been an amazing week. As we do, we work. But it's also that it's half term, so it's even greater. So I know that some of you moms and dads, maybe have taken some time off work just to be with the children. You may have gone away. You might be doing some great stuff, but whatever you're doing, do it well. So I do welcome you into Mel's Truthful Tuesday. As some of you know, I changed the concept of the show. I used to be talking about relationships, but it's not that I've stopped, because I'm still talking about relationships, but I am doing it on another show, which is Mel and IK's Truthful Moments. So listen out for that. That's going to be coming up again shortly. But I am doing empowered, untold stories. Now, I decided to do this on this platform because when I started Mel's Truthful Tuesday, it was actually based on my memoir. It was based on the life experiences that I dealt with. So it just made sense that, if you see what Mel's Truthful Tuesday, it's Mel's Truthful Tuesday. So it's all about the truth. And I felt like it was really a place where we can start taking off our mask and we can start showing people what we've really gone through. Now, the reasoning behind all of that is that because it took me 45 years before I could talk about my sexual abuse that happened when I was 6 years old. Now, that's a long time to carry something for so long. And if you can see the title, yes, it says, I was going to carry this to my grave. Now, some of you know that, it's so difficult to sometimes share what you're really going through. Sometimes it's so difficult to tell people this is what I've actually dealt with. And some of you, if you're honest, hasn't even shared that you've been sexually abused. Some of you haven't even shared that you had domestic violence. Some of you haven't even shared that you were sexually assaulted. Some of you haven't even shared that you was divorced and remarried. Some of you haven't even shared that you had you went and had an abortion. Some of you haven't even shared, that you've got these issues that you haven't shared with people. Now, some of the times why you haven't shared it is because of who you are, your position, your family, your children, your leadership role. It could be so many things. It also could be based on who you are. It could be based on, if I told this, then how's that going to be with my family, and all the rest of it that it comes with. But I wanted to take this to the grave. Now, sometimes we hold, and I'm going to be honest, there's some people that have died, have taken some of these stuff to their grave. And nobody will ever know. Don't you sometimes wish that, sometimes one of your loved ones have left and you think to yourself, I really wish I used to go to their house, they used to make me this food. And sometimes you wish I could ask them, how did they make it? What was their recipe? How did they do it? But because we were eating, we were liking the food and everything was nice. And when they've gone in the grave now, we think, oh God, I used to love the way how she cooked her rice and peas. I loved how the way he done his curry goat. But don't think we ever asked them how to make it. And it's the same way. They've taken their gifts, their skills, their talents all the way to the grave. And we are still left here. Now, some of the times we hold on to these stuff, and there's some people who will never tell you how they made their curry goat and rice and peas. There's some big chefs that have died and they haven't told you how they've made it because they don't want you to carry on their legacy. They want to leave that to either their children or their grandchildren, but they don't leave it to you. But while I was writing my book, I recognized that I was holding holding back what I believed that I needed to be free. Like I needed to share that. But when I was writing, I began to think, hold on, I'm writing my book, and I'm writing my book and saying that I was sexually abused, but I haven't told my parents and I haven't told my children. But I'm writing this book and I haven't told my family. And I'm like, I'm typing away and I'm getting my healing. I'm getting my deliverance. I'm getting revelation of what's going on. I'm getting revelation why I did this. I'm revelation about how I was, and all the rest of it is coming back to me. It's making sense. And I'm at the end of it. It took me 1 year to write my book. And at the end of writing the book, it was like, it was over. It had ended. The abuse had ended. The abuse in my mind had ended. You know, the thoughts had ended. Everything I was feeling had ended. But what was about to start was I needed to go and tell my family. It was about that I needed to go and share what really happened and what it looked like. Now, it was so difficult because I'm thinking I got to tell my parents, they're elderly, you know, how are they going to take that? Then I've got to tell my children. And then I'm like, God, you know, later on my grandchildren will know this. And, you know, and it keeps going. And then family, then friends, colleagues, church members, you know, leaders, and it just went on. And I was like, whoa. And then, you know, you tell the ones that are close. And then when you start telling others, oh, I didn't know that was you. Oh, I didn't know that you went through that. Oh, God, I didn't know that. And then I started to, it was really weird because even though I was taking it to the grave and I didn't want no one to know this, there was another part of me was like, people need to know because they need to know why I was a mess. They need to know why I didn't deal with certain issues. They need to know why I was promiscuous. They need to know why why I was having issues with money. They need to know why I was dealing with broken relationships. They need to know why this was happening, because people just saw this picture of me, but didn't know that there was a reasoning. Now, most people, they go through issues of life, but no one doesn't know why are they actually presenting that way. Why are they acting that way? But really and truly, they are dealing with either hidden issues, or they're dealing with past things that they've dealt with or spoken about. It comes up at some point in their life. And so I didn't want to take this to the grave, because I wanted to know that I could inspire a woman, that I could inspire a man. I know that my parents were a bit upset that I had to come and share this to the world, and I had to say, but I had to tell them, this is not about me, and this is not about you, and this is not about my children or my family, but this is about helping someone. And it could be someone in my family. It could be my parents. It could be so many people. But I know it was about helping someone to come out of their shell, take off their mask, show people their scars, show them what they went through. And this was not just about me. And it's not a pity party. Oh, guess what? I was abused and, you know, and I just need... No, it wasn't that. It's not nice going through this. And I had days, we're going to be real, because it's Truthful Tuesday. There was days where I didn't want to be here. There was days when I didn't like life. There were days when I was drinking alcohol and trying to get myself, overdose myself with alcohol. There were days when I just wanted to jump off the train line. Come on, I'm going to be real with it. This is Truthful Tuesday, and I'm going to help someone. There's some days where I didn't want to make it. There were days when I just didn't want to be Mel. Some of you knew I changed my name. I changed my name from Melissa to Christine Milan. Some of you know that I wasn't Melissa and I was Christine, because I didn't want Melissa to live anymore. I wanted Mel, Melissa, whatever you called me, Mel, Melissa. I didn't want that name anymore. And I wanted to get rid of Melissa. And I wanted to reinvent Christine. That's what I wanted. If you read my book, you will see. I wanted to reinvent Melissa, so I gave her Christine Milan. Now, my middle name is Christine. And obviously I use Milan now as my author name, Melissa Milan. and also for my platforms. But I wanted to get rid of Melissa. I wanted her to be RIP'd. I'm going to be real with you because it's Mel's Truthful Tuesday. And I was really angry with Melissa because Melissa was promiscuous. Melissa failed. Melissa had kids out of wedlock. Melissa had a divorce. You know, Melissa had all these issues. And Melissa, I wanted out. And so if I reinvented Christine, I started a new life, you know, I was someone completely different, then I would be okay. Now the devil is a liar. The devil is a liar, because we weren't reinventing no Christine Milan, because Melissa is Melissa. The devil tried to make me feel like you should be someone else now because of your past. Now, no one must dictate to you who you were and who you, the things that you went through. Never allow anyone to dictate to you who you are, because that does not make up who you are. If you decide, if you went through abuse, you went through low self-esteem, lack of confidence, didn't know who you were, dropped out of school, have no qualification, that does not dictate your future. Don't let anyone lie to you that because you've gone through those issues, then you will never be and you will never become. The devil is a liar. I have to say it to you. The devil is a liar. And there might be women and men that are on here now that's saying, oh, I've gone through abuse, I've gone through this, I've gone through that, and I can't deal with it, and I just need to end. Listen to me. You have to pick yourself up. You have to pick yourself up. The devil is out to kill, steal, and destroy. And he will tell you everything under the sun to make you feel like, you know what, I can't do this no more. I just need to pack up. I just need to pack my bags. I just need to just say, this is it for me. I can't do this no more. After my abuse, I got a degree. I got a master's. I wrote a book. I pursued what I never had. I pursued what I never had. I didn't allow the enemy, I went for a stage where I was drinking alcohol and I was getting drunk because I was so depressed. I had so much low self-esteem. I had nothing in me. I told you in the last show that I overate. I ate and ate and ate just to cover up those scars. But today we are unmasking these scars. We are unmasking the scars that you're dealing with week after week, month after month, year after year. Every year you said, oh, I'm going to deal with it, and you haven't dealt with it. Every year you said you're going to stop, and you haven't stopped. Every year you're telling yourself, I don't want to do this anymore. But today, on Mel's Truthful Tuesday, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not time to give up. It's no time to throw in the towel. Yes, I went through sexual abuse. Yes, I dealt with broken relationships. Yes, I dealt with rejection. And yes, I dealt with sexual assault. Yes, I dealt with these stuff. But I'm still standing. I'm still standing. And ladies and men, don't think that your life is over because you had a traumatic childhood. I had a traumatic life and nobody understands me. Nobody gets me. If they don't get you, try and get yourself. I had to tell myself, I went through a stage that I thought, oh, nobody loves me. I'm getting rejected. Nobody wants me. Nobody wants to be with me. And God said, I love you. I want you. Isn't that enough for you, Of course it is. If someone doesn't love you, you have to start loving yourself. There's a part in my book that I said, God, I really felt so rejected by men, and I don't really think they loved me. They just wanted me to have children and all the rest. And I had all this in my book. But I recognize that I didn't love myself enough to be with someone who would love me. I only loved myself enough to have someone just abuse me. Now, I didn't recognize that I was more than enough. I didn't recognize how beautiful I was. I didn't recognize that I had so much in me. I didn't recognize that I was going somewhere. I didn't recognize that I could be someone. I just thought I was nothing. Let me tell you something. When you go through abuse or you go through shame and you go through certain things, you still feel the same way. Even when you get your degree, even when you achieve, even when you get married, even when you still feel the same way. Don't let nobody fool you. You still feel the same way. So you have to get to a place. You have to change your mindset because you still feel the same way. When someone is overweight, and I've been there where I've been really overweight and I've lost all this weight and I've gone down to size, just say I was a size 14 and I went down to a size 10. I'm still male when I'm at 10. I'm still dealing with the issues even when I'm a size 10. It might make you feel confident because you're wearing a nice dress, but the conflict inside is still going on. It's still going, still mashing you up inside. So don't let no one tell you because that you've lost weight and you look good that the conflict is not happening. You're still the same person, but you have to change your mindset in order for you to understand that I'm going to love me. Because you might look good in the mirror, but it doesn't mean that you're loving yourself still. It doesn't mean that you're loving yourself for someone. It may not even be that you're loving, you might look good. There's some people, they look really good, but they've dealt with some real distressing, traumatic issues and they look good. But when they get a nice man or they get a nice woman, they don't know how to treat them. They don't know how to accept them. And that's simply because the reason why they don't understand that and they don't understand how to treat a woman or treat someone a certain way is because they're dealing with that conflict. They're dealing with the conflict within inside of them that's telling them that I'm not beautiful, that I don't look good, that I don't that I'm not great, that I'm not gonna be anyone, because they're dealing with the conflict. Now, when they start having these toxic relationships with people don't understand why they're behaving that way, why they're talking like that, why they're saying that, why they every minute when I'm telling them I'm going to give them this, but they don't want it, because they're dealing with their conflict. I don't know if I told you, but I've written it in my book. I recognize that money for me was a trigger. And I used to just want to spend money like nothing. It doesn't matter what, I'm just spending it. I can't hold the money. Not recognizing later on down the line, I realized the reason why I couldn't hold money was because it was connected to my abuse. My abuser used to give me money after he abused me. So he will give me like a little change and he will say, here, take this. And I'd think it's my reward. So when I was getting money, I was pushing money away. Simply because it was connected to my abuse. So sometimes when you're seeing women and men present in a certain way, start thinking about, why is my wife acting that way? Why is my husband talking like that? Why is she behaving that way? Why is my child not coming home from school when she's supposed to? Why is she not sleeping? Why? Start thinking, parents, about your children. Start thinking about what they're presenting with if they're not telling you that they've actually got an issue. Start thinking about it. Sometimes, and we're going to be honest with ourselves, sometimes we don't want to think about it because we know the truth behind it. We've watched movies, we've watched documentaries, we've heard from our own workplaces sometimes, oh, this person was abused because they were doing this, and you start thinking, hold on, my daughter was acting a bit like that the other day. You start thinking it. Come on, let's be real. It smells Truthful Tuesday. Sometimes you have to listen and you have to watch. What's the behavior of my husband? What's the behavior of my child? What's the behavior of my wife? What's the behavior that you're presenting, what people are seeing? Look at what you can see. Now, some people don't want to deal with the issues. Some people don't want to take off their mask. Some people don't want to deal with it because they want to take it to the grave. But today, if you're watching my channel, please don't take it to the grave. Get delivered, get healed, whatever that may take. Get a counselor, whatever it may take for you to tell people show people your scars. It's not fair on your children for their mum. For me, I'm going to use me as an example, for my children to think, but mum, why did you have all these broken relationships? Why was you dealing with all of that? They needed to know that there was an underlying issue that caused me to go this way, that caused me to be promiscuous. So I don't want you to feel bad about what you went through. I don't want you to feel bad about the areas that you went through, but they need to know your scars. They need to know your scars, your family, your friends, your children. So if you're watching this, unmask those scars. That someone in your family, someone as your friends, can be free, can be delivered. And that's why I put this platform on, Mel's Truthful Tuesday. And I will see you next week for some more insight into some of the hidden traumas that we deal with. So God bless you. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you next week. Take care and like, share and subscribe, because there's someone out there that needs to be empowered of these untold stories. Take care. God bless.
Check it out, check it.